Hi there, I am the book lady. Oh, I'm so glad you're here today because I kind of set a theme for today. It's going to be a grand day. Yes, in fact, there's a book I wanted to read called The Grand Day, but I don't think we're going to have time to read it. So you know what I'll do instead? I'll just set it here. And that will remind you it's a grand day. And it's because we're going to talk about grandparents and grandchildren. Are you a grandchild? I bet you are. Do you have a grandmother or a grandfather? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. We all have different roles we play in life. Like, let's see. You're a daughter. You're a son. Yeah. Maybe you're a brother. Maybe you're a sister. Yeah. You might even be a cousin. Well, you are also a granddaughter or a grandson. And I have different roles I play. I'm a daughter. I'm a mother. Ooh, yes. And my newest role is I'm a grandmother. And it is, I think it's my most fun role. I have so much fun with my grandchildren. We really have a blast. So let's read these books and find out about other kids and their grandparents. How about that? This is A Stopwatch from Grampa by Loretta Garbutt. A stopwatch. Now, it used to be everybody had a stopwatch. It was round, it had a little thing on top of it, and you go like that. And then to stop it, and you could say, how long will it take me to eat this carrot? Ready, set, go. Stop. You ate that carrot in 17 seconds. And it was so much fun, just playing with a stopwatch. Well, that's what this book is about. And it's a tender, beautiful little book, and I hope you love it like I do. Now, the last book we'll read is Last Stop on Market Street. And it's a little boy who takes a ride with his grandmother. He calls her Nana, and they ride on the bus. Now that's fun, because it's a whole different world on the bus. This is by Matt de la Peña, and he has written many, many wonderful books, but I brought this one because he's with his Nana, his grandmother. All right, for our grand day, let's start with a stopwatch from Grandpa. Here's a picture of a stopwatch. You see that? There's that thing. You start, stop. I looked all over my house for one. We used to have one, but I couldn't find it. When summer started, I got Grandpa's stopwatch. I don't want his stopwatch. I want him. Grandpa used to time everything. He timed me when I raced to the end of our street and back. Best speed, 24 seconds. He timed me eating bubblegum ice cream. 1 minute, 58 seconds. Brain freeze, 6 seconds. Do you know what brain freeze is? If you eat a lot of cold stuff really fast. Sitting on a log in the park, we timed a swallowtail caterpillar crawling up my pant leg. 7 minutes, 22 seconds. They're not very fast. The stopwatch was Grandpa's favorite thing. I can't believe he left it behind. Sometimes I timed Grandpa. 5 minutes to eat 3 oatmeal raisin cookies and 18 long minutes to drink his coffee, sip by sip. Well, see, if you don't drink coffee, sometimes you have to wait because it's a little bit hot. Curled up on the couch after dinner, he snored for a whole 20 minutes, then laughed for 12 seconds when I told him he sounded like a velociraptor. Wow, now that is a long word, and even the book lady isn't sure what it is. I love that picture. They're just watching him nap, and he's snoring, and they're timing it. Oh. It isn't fair that the watch is still here when he's not. I click it on, off, on, off. Then I throw the dumb thing into my drawer. He's not happy. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Now there are no more Grandpa minutes, Grandpa seconds. Time just stops. Oh, he's angry. You can tell by that picture he drew. When school starts, everything feels different. Playing soccer at recess isn't fun anymore. Lunch with my friends is boring. I don't even want to go to the park after school. Maybe I shouldn't have told Grandpa he snored like a dinosaur. I remember the first time Grandpa let me hold his stopwatch. He clicked the silver button on top, and we watched the red hand move round and round. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Seconds ticked by quickly, Grandpa said. He clicked the silver button again, and the watch stopped. Another button, reset, so the hand goes back up to 0. But you can always start over again. That is the fun of a stopwatch. I didn't think about the stopwatch for a long time. Then one day, I find it buried under my red sweater. Because remember, he threw it in the drawer. It fits perfectly in my hand. I crawl into bed and click the silver button. Tick, tick, tick. It takes 48 minutes for the shadows to move across the room. Tick, 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 tick. The watch sounds like Grandpa. It makes me think of all the things we used to time together. Now remembering him feels good. Tick, tick, tick. Like he's still here with me. When the smell of oatmeal raisin cookies fills my room, I hop out of bed and run downstairs. A quick 6 seconds to get to the kitchen. I wonder if I can eat 3 cookies in 4 minutes. I'll need some help to find out. Looks like he got his sister to help him because he has to eat the cookies. Somebody's got to work the watch. Click. And that last page, there's something about that page that's a little bit sad. This book it just got to me because there are certain things or activities that we associate with certain people. In this, the stopwatch was his grandpa. Whenever he saw the stopwatch, it made him think of Grandpa. And he had such good fun timing things. They just had a blast. And Grandpa wasn't there. But the watch was. And what did that watch do? Gave him memories. Memories are so important, especially with grandparents. I think that was such a nice book. I like it very much. Now this next book, Last Stop on Market Street, you're going to like this book. There's a lot to take in here, okay? So hang on. And the pictures are just, remember, we learned the big word, illustrations. They're just wonderful. They're simple, but they really catch your eye. Now, the young boy in this story is named CJ, and he calls his grandmother Nana, okay? CJ pushed through the church doors and skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. So he and his grandmother have been to church, and then when they came out, it was raining. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus and all this wet?" "Well, trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one over there drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but he never saw a straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire and old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." Mr. Dennis is the bus driver. The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked, and he pulled a coin from CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go anywhere." "Well, I feel sorry for those boys," she said. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? Boy, what do you know about seeing? Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact. Their noses too, said the man, sniffing at the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. See, he couldn't see her, but he could hear her, and she had a nice deep laugh, and he could smell her perfume. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in the back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. He's talking about the music they're listening to in their earphones. Nana set down the knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? Well, CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves. He saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky. He saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full and he was lost in the sound. And the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. Remember, he got a coin from Dennis, the bus driver. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded-up stores. He reached for Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? See, they're in a new neighborhood, and it's a little bit ragtag. It hasn't been taken care of too well. She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes, when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. And guess what? Even if you're in a really dirty place, you look up and the sky's the same. It's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arcing over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, Me too, CJ. Now, Come on. And guess what? This is where they were going on the bus. They were going to a soup kitchen. Do you see them? They're back here working. And it's for people who don't have quite enough to eat. And they can go there and get themselves something, you know, a bite to eat. So, the bus ride, he learned, saw, and heard so much more than if he and his grandmother had taken a car. And you know, the same thing goes if they had decided to walk. I think it would have been a very long walk and they would have been late. So that's why they took the bus. And he wondered, that rainbow, the beautiful sky, but the neighborhood was kind of tired. It needed some love. And how is it that his grandmother always found the beautiful side? And she was trying to teach him how to find the beautiful side. So often we'll look at someone, we don't know them, perfect stranger, but they just look funny to us. They're not like what we're used to. And so maybe we're afraid. Maybe we just don't want to see it. But his grandmother wasn't afraid. And she didn't mind seeing it. And she was teaching CJ. Look, engage, talk to them. You might be surprised. Like there was that man sitting there with a guitar. And she says, ask him to play a song. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. And all of a sudden, he's all shy. But then he started playing, and and the blind man said, close your eyes, because then you'll hear the music the way I hear it. And when you close your eyes and you hear that music, you can be anywhere you want. You could be on a beach. You could be on a mountain. Oh, you could be floating on water. See? Sometimes our eyes, our vision limits us. Ever thought of that? Yeah. I just thought this book, we could talk about this book for a week. His grandmother was exposing him to the beautiful world out there that so many of us don't get it. We don't get it. And she wanted him to get it. These are beautiful people. Well, let's think. The blind man rides the bus because he can't drive. There are interesting people everywhere we go. And if you're willing to open yourself up and say, hey, will you play your guitar? Or what's your dog's name? Or I love that shirt you have on. It's so beautiful. Just open it up. It opens up your world. And I think, you know, when his friends hop in a car, drive right home, and that's it. They've been exposed to nothing. I think Nana was very smart. Yeah, she was very smart. In her own way, she was teaching CJ how to really see the world. And seeing it as a blind man, I think maybe we see more because we're using our ears and we're using our nose, and you might feel something and say, oh, I'm sitting in a wicker chair. So this was an important book to me, and I'm glad I got to bring this to you. This is The Last Stop on Market Street. And that's where the soup kitchen was. She knew exactly where she was going. And what did they do there? They met even more people. All of them have a story. There's some reason they weren't getting enough food that day and they were there. Maybe they just wanted to be there because they were lonely. Do you know, when I go to the library, you do know I love to go to the library. When I go to the library, I see lonely people and they come to the library so they won't be lonely. Books can keep you company. Think about it. When you read a book, it's like being with a friend. And it's like having a conversation. The book is talking to you, and you're listening, and you're thinking, and you're remembering, and you're loving, or maybe you start crying. Maybe your grandpa's gone, but they bet there's something that reminds you of grandpa, or your grandma, or your nana. That's what CJ called his grandmother, his nana. You know, I have a granddaughter, and every Wednesday we have lunch. And she wants the same thing every Wednesday. And she told me, I love my Wednesdays because I love to come home and have lunch with you at your house. And she gave me a big hug, and that made the book lady very happy. And sometimes when she comes over, after she eats her lunch, I tell her that I'd been to the library, and she sees all my books. I bring home that many books. And I say, what book do you think my friends on the book lady would like? And she looks at them, and then she'll say, read this one, Gigi. She calls me Gigi. She doesn't call me the book lady. She calls me Gigi. And we'll read the book, and she says, you've got to read that book. Your friends will like that book. So sometimes I do. Oh, I hope that you will find something special to do with your grandma or your grandpa. And if you don't have one, I hope you have something that will help you remember them, because those memories are important. Hey, guess what? You can watch The Book Lady on YouTube. Did you know that? And on YouTube, you can find all the books you want. We've read hundreds of books, and we have so much fun. I'm going to head to the library. How about you? Because I'm going to bring back 2 more books just for you. Oh, tell your friends, tell your cousin, tell your grandma and grandpa to watch The Book Lady. Watch it together with them. Yeah. And we will have so much fun. And until the next time, I'm the Book Lady. Bye-bye.